What if I told you the looming U.S. government shutdown isn't really about budgets, spending caps, or even healthcare? What if it's not a failure of negotiation but a deliberate, high-stakes maneuver to permanently alter the structure of American governance itself? This isn't speculation. This is strategy in motion. And the consequences could outlast any administration, any election, even the Constitution's traditional checks and balances. Right now, nearly 900,000 federal employees stand on the edge of professional oblivion, not because of incompetence, not because of scandal, but because they represent something increasingly inconvenient to a growing faction in power: neutrality. For decades, the U.S. civil service has operated on a simple principle: expertise over allegiance, competence over loyalty. These are the scientists at the CDC tracking disease outbreaks, the air traffic controllers keeping planes from colliding, the agricultural inspectors ensuring your food isn't contaminated, the patent examiners protecting innovation, the diplomats negotiating behind closed doors to keep wars from starting. They don't campaign. They don't tweet. They serve regardless of who occupies the White House. But that model is under direct, coordinated assault. On September 24th, the White House Office of Management and Budget issued a directive that broke with over a century of precedent. It didn't instruct agencies to prepare for furloughs, temporary, paid suspensions, as seen in every prior shutdown. No, this memo ordered departments to prepare for *** permanent terminations ***, fire people, remove them from payroll, erase their positions, and do it under the cover of a budget impasse over Medicaid and Affordable Care Act funding, a surface-level dispute designed to mask a far deeper agenda. Because let's be clear, this has nothing to do with fiscal responsibility. If it did, we'd see across-the-board cuts, efficiency reviews, or modernization efforts. Instead, we see a surgical strike against the very idea of a nonpartisan bureaucracy. The goal isn't to shrink government to *** or EPOPULAT***, to replace career professionals with political appointees whose primary qualification isn't experience, but obedience. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's policy evolution. Think back to 2018, a 35-day shutdown over border wall funding. Over 300,000 workers were sent home, but they returned. They received back pay. The system reset. The norms held. But those in power learned a hard lesson from that episode. Temporary disruption doesn't create permanent change. Furloughs are reversible. Firings are not. So now, they've changed the playbook. They're using the procedural chaos of a funding lapse not as a bargaining tactic, but as a legal and logistical smokescreen to execute mass personnel purges. That would be politically impossible in normal times. Once those workers are gone, their institutional knowledge vanishes. Their networks dissolve. Their replacements won't be hired through competitive exams or merit reviews. They'll be selected through loyalty filters, donor connections, or ideological litmus tests. And the timing is no coincidence. We are entering the most volatile phase of the election cycle. Inflation remains a voter concern. The labor market is fragile. And during a shutdown, the very data that anchors economic decision-making, jobs reports from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation metrics from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, consumer confidence indices simply stops flowing. Markets operate on information. Remove that, and you create a vacuum of uncertainty. In that vacuum, panic spreads. Investments stall. Retirement accounts fluctuate. Small businesses delay hiring. And in moments of perceived crisis, public tolerance for extraordinary measures increases. That's the real endgame here. 2. Manufacture the conditions for emergency governance When watchdog agencies like the FTC, SEC, GAO, and even parts of the Justice Department are shuttered or skeleton-staffed, oversight evaporates, regulatory enforcement halts, and in that silence, power consolidates. Consider the deepfake video recently circulated showing Democratic leaders saying things they never said. It wasn't just crude propaganda. It was a probe, a test of how far disinformation can travel when the institutions that would normally debunk it, investigate it, or regulate it are offline. No FTC to flag deceptive content. No FBI cyber unit to trace origins. No independent media with access to official sources. Just noise, fear, and confusion, and a narrative that can be shaped by whoever controls the megaphone. This is not a breakdown of democracy. It's a recalibration of it away from pluralism, toward centralization, away from expertise, toward allegiance, away from transparency, toward opacity. The shutdown isn't the crisis. It's the opportunity a moment when the usual rules are suspended, accountability is deferred, and structural changes can be implemented under the guise of necessity. Prediction markets now give an 86% chance of a shutdown occurring. But that number misses the point. The real question isn't whether the lights go out in federal buildings. It's what kind of government flickers back to life when they're turned on again. Will it still be a republic governed by laws, procedures, and nonpartisan service? Or will it be something else, a patronage machine, where your job, your safety, even your rights depend not on citizenship, but on conformity? History doesn't pivot on grand declarations or battlefield victories alone. Sometimes it turns in quiet memos, in HR departments drafting termination letters, in empty cubicles where institutional memory once lived. This is War Mind. We don't just watch history unfold, we trace the hidden architecture beneath it. Because understanding the strategy is the first step to resisting it.